Haunted mazes, madmen with chainsaws, and scare actors galore. More on episode 30, 13 first-timer tips for Halloween Horror Nights. Hey, theme park hipsters, it's your host, Nikki J, the owner of ThemeParkHipster.com, where I help you plan the best solo theme park vacation with the latest tips, reviews, personal stories, and more. Today, I have a great episode just for you. But first, I want you to know that I have a free, quick ebook guide to doing Universal Orlando theme parks solo. You can find the link to get your download instantly in today's show notes. Now, do you dare to venture out to this year's Halloween Horror Nights, huh? Do you? If so, you are in for more than ghostly encounters. Halloween Horror Nights is an event that takes place annually from about September to the first week of November at Universal Studios Florida, and it also occurs in Universal Studios Hollywood. It's a premier event with new levels of fear and terrifying haunted houses, along with outrageous entertainment that can make any grown person cry. And trust me, I've almost shed a tear or two. So if you are brave enough to handle the #1 horror event in the world, then I've gathered the best tips to help you survive Halloween Horror Nights. Tip #1 is to get to Halloween Horror Nights early. I cannot express this enough. Unless you're spending your cell phone money on an express pass, I would suggest you get to Universal Studios at least an hour before the start of the event. If you're lucky enough, you may be able to get into the park early, knock out 2 to 3 houses within 1 hour, and then once the crowd kind of gets heavier, you'll be able to finish up the rest of the houses of that year. Now, Halloween Horror Nights starts each night at 6:30 p.m., but you are allowed to remain in one of the Stay and Scream spots. Stay and Scream is basically a program where if you purchase a park ticket to go during the day, and you also have a Halloween Horror Nights, they will allow you to stay in congregated areas such as an area in Springfield, an area in New York at the Finnegan's Bar area type place, and Hollywood near Hello Kitty store. They make you stay in those areas while the people who were at the park during the day who are not attending Halloween Horror Nights will be escorted out. They begin to set up and get everything ready, and then once Halloween Horror Nights is about to open, they will let you get out of those areas and you'll be in a park already. So it's kind of a great little tip or hack to do if you're trying to get through all of the haunted houses quickly at Halloween Horror Nights. Tip #2, the more, the merrier. And what I mean by this is that going to Halloween Horror Nights as a group, it makes it a little bit more fun because you guys get to kind of feed off of each other's energy. But if you want to also do another way where you kind of go like on a date with your significant other, it's a great way to have a little bit more affection because you will be in each other's arms throughout the night. Tip #3 is to know that you probably shouldn't bring your kid. According to Universal, this event may be too intense for young children. Adult discretion is strongly advised, they say, and that there are no child ticket prices available. That means one price for everyone. It does not matter your age. Tip #4 is to know what to wear to Halloween Horror Nights. Do you choose style? Do you choose comfort? Or are you going to try to do both? For me, I choose comfort over style, but I am trying to get better at combining the two. What I do recommend is to wear comfortable sneakers for all the standing, the walking, and the running you will be doing. Trust me, you will thank me later. This is the #1 tip for Halloween Horror Nights is to wear comfortable shoes because you're going to walk. It's like a different type of walking that you're not used to at theme parks. So have some good, comfortable shoes. Tip #5 is to have a game plan. Route your path around the park in advance by retrieving the Halloween Horror Nights park map. You can save the opportunity for riding some of the permanent attractions, such as the ET adventure, for another visit. You can also do any of the rides towards the end of the night once you have done all the houses. So you want to do all the houses first, and if you have any time, try to ride through some of the attractions. Tip #6 is to attend Halloween Horror Nights on off-peak nights. Visit during days such as Sunday through Thursday to take advantage of one, you're going to have a cheaper price, and two, there are going to be smaller crowds on those days. You're going to want to avoid weekends and holidays as much as possible. These are the worst days to go because you will not be able to enjoy all of the houses because these lines at Halloween Horror Nights are ridiculous. Tip number 7 is to purchase your tickets in advance. It's best to buy your tickets ahead of time. This will help prevent you having to wait in line once you get to the park. That's something you do not want to do at all, point blank, period. So just get them from Universal Studios. You can get them at like your local grocery store, like a Publix, or who I recommend here on the show is Undercover Tourists. Tip number 8 is to get a Halloween Horror Nights Express Pass. Now, if you haven't picked up the vibe of the show yet, I'm trying to let you know that these lines at all of these haunted houses are so long that I personally recommend getting an Express Pass. Yes, it's expensive, but it is totally worth it. Halloween Horror Nights is an extremely popular event, if not the most popular Halloween event going on in Central Florida. So that in itself lets you know that some of these houses can get up to like 2.5 hours of just waiting for a walkthrough of a house. Not even a ride, just a house. Just having the Express Pass will help you conquer each house at Halloween Horror Nights, and you can still try to get some of the rides in as well. Tip number 9 is to think about buying a unique Halloween Horror Nights experience. Try out the Unmasking the Horror Tour, where you'll have a daytime, lights on look at how the Universal Orlando's art and design team transforms the biggest names of horror, yes, into something so hands-on and so unique. I have this on one of my theme park bucket list items because I love to see the detail that Universal puts into their houses and any of their attractions. And when you go through this walk-on tour during the daytime, you can see that. It's hard to see it while you're going through the houses at nighttime because you're kind of scared. You got all that intensity and you're just trying to get through. But if you do this kind of tour, you can see everything up close. Tip number 10 is to stay hydrated. As I mentioned earlier, Halloween Horror Nights requires a lot of walking and sweating, which is something we Floridians we're used to. But when someone comes from out of town, they may kind of underestimate the heat and humidity that Florida has. So just try to stay hydrated. Get your bottle of water in every hour to hour and a half. Just stay ahead of the game and you'll have a great time. Tip number 11 is to watch Halloween Horror Night vlogs. I love YouTube. I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys do too. And whenever I'm getting ready to go to Halloween Horror Nights, I love to watch other people's experience there, such as, I'm pretty sure you guys have heard of Tim Tracker. And also, I also watch a guy named Geek Glass Daily Vlog. He does some great theme park vlogs and vlogs from around the country. But his Halloween Horror Nights experiences are so much fun to watch, and it always gets me geeked up and so excited. Tip number 12 is to know that costumes are not allowed at Halloween Horror Nights. This is just for safety reasons, and that's it. Universal does not want the actors to be in any harm, and they do not want you to be in any harm, so costumes are not allowed. And our final tip is to just have fun. Remember, you're going to have a great time, so try not to stress too much about enjoying all the delightfully ghoulish frights that you will be experiencing, and yes, you will be experiencing them at Universal's Halloween Horror Nights. There you have it, guys. Those are 13 easy first-timer tips to do Halloween Horror Nights like a pro. Let's go through them quickly so that you can kind of get them to stick into your head. Tip number 1 is to get to Halloween Horror Nights early. Tip number 2 is to go with a group. Tip number 3 is to remember that kids are not allowed. Tip number 4 is to dress comfortably. Tip number 5 is to have a game plan. Tip number 6 is to attend Halloween Horror Nights on off-peak nights. Tip number 7 is to purchase your Halloween Horror Night tickets in advance. Tip number 8 is to get an Express Pass. Tip number 9 is to buy a unique Halloween Horror Nights experience, such as a tour. Tip number 10 is to stay hydrated. Tip number 11 is to watch Halloween Horror Nights vlogs on YouTube. Tip number 12 is to not bring any costumes. And tip number 13 is to just have fun. If you'd like to read the complete list, I have the link to all 24 of my Halloween Horror Night tips in today's show notes. Please let me know what your favorite Halloween Horror Nights maze and scare zone is of all time by hitting me up at ThemeParkHipster@gmail.com. Be sure to rate and review this episode. That way I can continue to bring you the best theme park hacks tailored just for you, and it also helps others find this show too. You can connect with me over at the Theme Park Hipster Facebook group so we can get that conversation going. We can post pictures, do all of that, and it allows me to connect with you one-on-one. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen to the Theme Park Hipster Show. And until next time, happy park hopping hipsters. The content on the Theme Park Hipster Show represents my own and not those of any organizations or activity mentioned. I am just someone here who likes to share my own stories to you and hope that I can help you have the best vacation ever.